Remakes. Aren't they so bad? Why is there so many remakes nowadays? Is Hollywood completely out of ideas? When are we gonna get to the point where we start remaking remakes? When is this YouTube video gonna get a remake? When am I gonna get a remake? Disney in particular is kind of the worst about remakes because it seems like they're on a quest to redo all their old movies. They remade Cinderella, they remade The Jungle Book, they remade Beauty and the Beast, they remade Aladdin, The Lion King, they made Maleficent, which is kind of like a remake of Sleeping Beauty, and then they made a sequel to that. They remade Lady and the Tramp. Why? They made a remake of Mulan, but that's kind of a work in progress, I guess. And now that Disney has their own streaming platform, they can make as many remakes as they desire. They're gonna remake 3 Men and a Baby, Cheaper by the Dozen, Father of the Bride. Hey, that's already a remake. They really are doing remakes of remakes. They're remaking Parent Trap. Hey, that's a remake of a remake too. Can we pass a law that's gonna put a limit on how many remakes you can make? Because something tells me that Disney isn't gonna stop at the 3rd generation. Some of the movies they're remaking are gonna be really weird to see. Apparently there's gonna be a remake of Home Alone, so that'll be like Home Alone 6, I guess. Yeah, if you didn't know there was 5 Home Alone movies, I'm really sorry that I had to be the bearer of bad news. Now this new Home Alone reboot isn't gonna be about a new, recasted version of Kevin McAllister like Home Alone 4. Instead, it'll follow the playbook that film classics Home Alone 3 and Home Alone 5 went by, where it's just about some kid that isn't Kevin defending themselves from robbers that aren't Harry and Marv. The new movie is supposed to star Archie Yates in the lead role, with Ellie Kemper and Rob Delaney as the parents. Okay. I mean, this movie will probably be better than Home Alone 4 and 5, but what's really the point of making a new one? What else could they even do with this concept? Christmas movie about a kid defending his home from burglars doesn't sound like a franchise that needs the same amount of entries as Paranormal Activity. Another franchise getting remade on Disney Plus is Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Again, but unlike the other remake, this is going to be a series instead of a movie, which is a format I actually think would probably suit Diary of a Wimpy Kid better, given that the books are mostly collections of random stories anyways. What they really have to get right this time around though is the casting, because they picked perfect actors for the roles in the original trilogy, and when everyone got recasted for the reboot, nobody really liked the new cast. Anybody remember #NotMyRoderick? We don't want a repeat of that. Anyways, I'm more excited for this than the Home Alone remake. I think there's a lot more potential with new Diary of a Wimpy Kid content, especially since there's a lot of stories in the books that haven't even been covered in any of the movies. At least it's a better idea than remaking Night at the Museum, which they're doing for some reason. This one is just really confusing to me, because who really wants this? The Night at the Museum trilogy we already had that ended only 6 years ago, I think was enough out of this franchise, at least for a while. And this also applies to Diary of a Wimpy Kid. The previous iterations of these franchises were pretty recent, and I don't know if we really need a remake yet. However, with all these, all I'm really doing is criticizing the concept of a remake. I'm not saying they'll all be bad. I'm sure Disney's gonna put a lot of effort into these projects, but Night at the Museum, of all things to remake? I mean, the movies are pretty good, but do we need more Night at the Museum content, really? There is one remake coming to Disney Plus that I actually think is a really good idea, and I'm excited to see, and that's the upcoming Percy Jackson series. The original movies from 2010 and 2014 weren't bad, but they definitely could have adapted the books a lot better, and I think this series has a chance to do that. Unlike the previous 3 reboots that all had really good originals, the 2 Percy Jackson movies had a lot of missed potential, so I think this warrants a reboot more than most franchises. The books were great and could be turned into an amazing series if they did it right on Disney Plus, which I think they will, especially since the author of the book series, Rick Riordan, who wasn't a big fan of the 2 movies, now has some creative control over the project. Overall, I'm really excited to see how this one turns out. Anyways, those were my thoughts on some things. I hope you enjoyed. And I also hope some of these turn out to be really good, because Disney Plus kind of needs more stuff on their platform right now. And this is just me talking personally and not much of a criticism of the actual platform, but honestly, after Mandalorian Season 1 ended, I haven't really been watching much on Disney Plus. I'm still just kind of waiting for those Marvel shows, honestly.